Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, just a quick little free video for you talking about goals and certainties. Goals, just to give you a different slant perhaps on the age-old goal setting deal. Here's a question: what if everything isn't attainable? What if you set a goal and it's not possible? That can't be so, can it? After all, goals are great things. We use goals because we crave control. That's how we get control of things. That's how we make things happen with goals, right? We also use goals because we live in stories, so it makes life understandable for us. We like to live in our own narrations. We create stories of how we do this, and we do this, and therefore we end up with that. And look, that was our struggle, and that was our progress. That was our story. We believe in logic, right? This causes that, doesn't it? If we do this, that happens. If the universe does this, it's because of that happened. And yet, of course, quantum physics says that is not so. We also tend to believe we can fix bits without affecting the whole. This seems to be a big challenge with society. We all tend to think, okay, if we just fix this thing here, nothing else will get affected. We'll just fix this thing. But that's not the case. If we just take some coal and burn it over here, it won't affect things elsewhere. If we just have a volcano here, it doesn't affect things elsewhere. And of course, we know it does. So it's a problem. The problems with the way we look at things and perhaps approach both failure and success is that nothing is certain, because we're not in charge. You say you want to be in charge of your life. You say if you're female, you want to be in charge of your sexuality and your body. Well, you can be, but if a bus hits you, you're not in charge anymore. I mean, you can't predict everything. There's too many things out there. Nothing is really certain, and we are not in charge of most things. In fact, there's probably only about one thing we're in charge of, and that is how we think about things and how we react to things. Everything else is kind of gets beyond our control. And here's the deal: we may never reach our goal. Many people never reach their goals. Many talented, driven people never reach their goals. For instance, how many people win the Olympics gold medal? Well, one. How many people don't win the Olympic gold medal? Everybody else that tried, and they could be just as good. They could have just trained as hard. They could be as talented, but just something happened. Maybe something out of their control. Maybe the lane affected them. Maybe there's so many things. Being number one is usually an accident. Being very good is not an accident. All those people who are in the Olympics are very good. But if your goal is to be number one, you're moving into an area where nothing is certain and you're not in charge. Nevertheless, let's just keep talking here. These are just idea points for you. Goals are good, just like exercise is good. Goals are good for your body, for your health and your soul, just like exercise. Because goals are activity. They move you forward. Goals produce results, certainly, but they also move your life forward, or they move you in a direction. And the goals can be not just financial. Goals can be spiritual. Goals can be a spiritual quest, a soul quest, travel goals. If you don't have a goal to travel to Africa, you don't get to go to Africa. And let's say you want to go to Africa, then you have to set a goal. Goals are good. Like exercise, but some exercise and some goals are bad. Some exercise goes crazy and destroys your health and muscles. Some has bad technique, some has bad attitude, some have bad teaching. Not all exercise is good. You could define exercises, you could just play with words and say, well, of course, anything that is good for your body is exercise, and therefore exercise is good. But you can go to an extreme. You can destroy your health, your muscles. You can have bad technique, bad attitude, bad teaching. A lot of bad teaching out there. Same with goals. And so examine your goals. Goals are good, and like everything else, but they can be bad. I think the biggest thing to look at goals is when you are setting a goal, what are you going to leave behind? We'll discuss that later. A goal also is, again, thinking points. A goal is a target, not happiness itself. A goal is not, you can't have a goal for happiness. You have to have a goal towards something of which, and then happiness can or may not be produced from that. A goal is not you. Most of the stuff that you do is not you, because most of the stuff is driven by ego. You're frightened, you're scared, you're crazy, you're drunk, you're mad, you have biases, you have beliefs that aren't really fixed in anything in the real world. But that's not the real you. There's a soul, if you will. There's something inside that is the real you. A goal is something that the ego tends to set. But even if it's a spiritual goal, it doesn't make a proof of who you are, because if you don't reach it, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you didn't reach the goal. Be careful you don't link the two completely. A goal is not completeness. If I make $1 million, I will be complete. If I reach the top of that mountain, I will be complete. A goal is just a target, because once you reach the target, you got to do something else. Move on. It's not completeness. And certainly, a goal is not life. Goals are part of life, but life is not a goal. Life is not a goal. Hey, that's pretty good. I could make a song, couldn't you? Life is not a goal. But definitely set goals and commit to goals, because on the way to them, you discover life. Set goals, commit to goals, because on the way to them, you discover life. It's on the way to things that you find things. On the way to the grocery store, you met your wife. On the way to the skiing trip, you met your husband. Whatever. You can't achieve nothing. You can't achieve anything from nothing. Sitting still never does anything, unless sitting still is a goal, meditation, etc. But I mean, doing nothing, sitting on the couch, gets nothing. It's good to set goals and then commit to them. Be aware. Thinking points again. There's a difference between, as we said before, wanting to be good or great at something and being number one. There's a difference between you want to train yourself to become a great singer and winning, say, American Idol. Why you'd want to win? Well, because of the money, I guess. But American Idol is a contest, and once you're in a contest, there's huge variables. If we look at American Idol, there's the judges, there's the audience, the TV audience. Maybe one week your fans didn't like your song or didn't watch you, or hundreds of reasons. Their phones were down, their internet was down, they couldn't vote, and millions of reasons. Variables, things outside of your control. So it's a frustrating thing to try and be number one. And usually that's a very ego-driven goal. A more solid goal would be, I want to be great at something. I want to be very good at something. Acknowledged or unacknowledged, I want to be great. If you want to be a great guitar player, there's nothing to stop you being a great guitar player. I want to be number one in the world and recognized as the best guitar player in the world. That's ego. That's a goal, setting yourself up for failure. Another variable, what depends on making that goal? If it's other people, in other words, I want them to vote for me, you got ego in there, and you got challenges because there's variables. You can have a great, powerful leader who never gets voted because the opposition has too much money and they do attack ads or whatever. What depends on you making the goal? Hot market, and for money, a hot market, a bad market, status quo. That is, we tend to all look at things and say, as long as everything stays the same, I'll achieve this. But of course, nothing ever stays the same. There's a difference between focus and fanaticism, and the difference is usually crossing the line of ethics, morals, probably the law, and also it'll drive you crazy. Focus on a goal that is a good goal. And by the way, here's a quick definition of a good goal. A good goal is something that when you achieve it, it helps other people. It gives something to other people. A bad goal is when you take something from other people. But a good goal is if you want to think, okay, I want to do something with my life, and I want to achieve something worthwhile in my life. Then think about whatever this thing you're trying to achieve, how many people does it affect in a good way? The more people it affects in a good way, the better the goal and the better reward you get. Difference between focus and fanaticism. For instance, there's always the story of the Horatio Alger type story, which are all made up. By the way, those are fiction. Most people who make it to top in a commercial market-driven economy like the West cheat. They do. You don't get there by being nice. You don't get to be a big movie star, not actor. You don't get to be a big movie star by being nice. You got to push, and you got to push, and you got to push, and you got to step on other people to get there. That's the difference between number one and being good at something. A lot of great actors out there never make it to being a movie star. One of the reasons is maybe the camera doesn't like them, or like them as much as, say, a Tom Cruise or a Brad Pitt. But you're going to be a Sharon Stone. You got to push a lot of boundaries to make that work for you, and be prepared to do it. The story of Schwarzenegger, for instance, Arnie. Coming from a poor Austrian village and bad family, bad home life, and driving himself to become number one and getting himself out of there. You understand what he had to do. To become a top bodybuilder is one thing. To become recognized as number one, you got to game the system, man. And he admits he did. You game the system to become number one. He faked a lot of people out. He was determined, no matter what, he was going to become number one, because that was his ticket out of there. And broke a lot of rules doing that. And so I would be careful if you're sitting back and setting a goal and deliberately setting a goal. Set a goal that is not a fanatical drive. Set a goal that says, okay, when this goal is achieved, sure, do goals for yourself, but let's say you want a lifetime goal. At the end of that lifetime goal, how many people does that affect in a positive way? Steve Jobs was about, he was a pretty driven guy, of course, and wouldn't let anybody stand in his way. But he had a thing about affecting the marketplace. The difference between a hedge fund manager, guy that makes billions, and Steve Jobs is a hedge fund manager, just takes money, other people's money who are already rich, and makes them richer, and himself included. Steve Jobs was prepared to work to produce something lasting in the marketplace. Whole different deal. The other thing to be aware of on a goal is to get that goal, what is left behind. I want to be rich. I don't care what happens to my family. I don't care about friends, relatives. I just want to be rich. You leave a life behind doing that. So use your goals as methods for improving your life, creating satisfaction and fulfillment in other people. Can you do that? Help other people? That goal of creating something, fulfillment and satisfaction in other people's lives, the rewards are tremendous. Use your goals as methods to building your character, not a character, not a fake character, your character. Building something within inside yourself, getting past the I want. And then the last thing on this little pitch, this little free video, is of course a mild pitch. You can buy and use my books on goals, goal setting, and life in general right here on the amazonwriter.com/goalslife. There's a bunch of little books that are Kindle books, so they're very, very cheap and often go on free sale, so check them out. They're just ideas and worksheets and things to help you if you want to set a goal. Again, as these books say, if you're a driven, no holds barred, I'm going to get it my way, whatever. Well, first of all, you're not watching this video, but this is for a person that says, I want to achieve something. I want to set goals. What should I look for? How do I do that? So hopefully, these are just some little ideas to help you with that goal setting pitch. And so, thanks very much, guys. We'll be doing another couple more of these PowerPoint videos on success and failure, and just ideas, just to get you thinking. So we'll see you next time.